So I'm going to get started here. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. If I disappear on you guys, I'm sorry. Like I said, my phone's dying. We'll see how long it lasts. But as you can see in the title, I'm going to talk about books and mentors today. This kind of goes in with the goals that I was talking about yesterday and the day before, setting goals. And the reason why this goes together is because these books have helped me to set goals. And this is one of them right here, Think and Grow Rich. And then right here, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All right, so these two books have helped a ton. Managing Oneself. This guy is itty bitty and it's awesome. Look how big the lettering is in here. Super quick read, but it really helps, kind of makes you think a little bit about your strengths mainly and how to bring those out, how to find your strengths and how to find strengths in others as well. So that's really important. This is what I'm reading at the moment, talking about fitness business. I've also got Sam Walton's Made in America and The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos, Amazon. The Made in America is about Walmart. So those are the ones I've got with me right here. I've got a few more behind me, and I'm wanting to get the one about Zappos. I think it's called The Gift of Happiness. I'm wanting to get that one as well. But the ones I'm going to be talking about a lot are Think and Grow Rich and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The reason behind it is because it's huge with self-development. And whenever you talk about self-development, that also gets into mentors. Mentors are huge for helping to develop yourself. Yesterday I was talking about surrounding yourself with the right people, people that help kind of build you up and not necessarily pull you along, but guide you. This is an awesome analogy that I heard Sean Whalen talk about, was the lighthouse and the tugboat. They both save ships, but they do. Sorry, my phone's telling me it's dying, so pause for a second. So, lighthouses and tugboats, they both save ships in two different ways. The tugboat will go out there, run out, grab a boat, pull it back in, run out, grab another boat, pull it in, fighting through the waves and everything. And the lighthouse sits up and blasts a beam of light out and shows everyone where to go. So there's two major differences here. One of them is running out and grabbing everyone and pulling them back in. The other one is telling everyone where to go so they can all come in at the same time. And in that way, you also accomplish something on your own and you're not being dragged along by someone else. So I guess the whole meaning behind it that's important to us is you're going to learn a lot more. And then if you're leading people, you can lead a lot more instead of forcing someone to come with you or dragging them along. Teaching them, showing them is going to help them a lot more. So that's the importance of mentors. But books kind of do the same thing too. They kind of show you what's going on. Big reasons why we want to read books. You're physically getting engaged with the book whenever you're not really physically getting too much engagement with like the internet. Speaking of the internet, books. Tell me someone that you know who has written a book. And then tell me someone you know who has written on the internet. There's going to be a lot more people that have written on the internet. And that's because it's easy. You know, keyboard warriors, people get out there, write all kinds of stuff. You know, people like me talking on Facebook Live, trying to teach people some stuff. But publishing a book is a whole different thing, whole different ballgame. So there's a lot to get out of books because it takes a lot more effort than it does to get on the internet and post something. So there's two big ones. You learn from all over the world whenever you're reading from books. You can do the same with the internet. You're learning from the past easily with books. You can also do the same with the internet. But you are also learning things and mistakes that people have made beforehand that you don't necessarily have to make on your own. So you hear a lot of times, oh, well, mistakes, or you learn from your mistakes, or failures are your best teachers and things like that. But it's also nice to find the failures and find the ways not to do things before you end up doing them. That's why they make the warning labels, because people figured out that you're not supposed to do that, and they're telling you beforehand, hey, don't try it out, just don't do that. So that you can get that stuff from the books. You can get stuff like that from the internet too. That's all right, but I just like books too because a lot of people skip that out. They just go straight to Google and they want the quick answers. So don't always go for the quick answers. So Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I would really encourage you guys to dig into those books. I mean, I've got like notepads full. Here, let me grab a chunk. I'm gonna grab a chunk here and go back. And then there's more numbers and writings and stuff on there. And then I'm further along. I've got more stuff up here. And then I've got my OneNote. Here, let me pull this off. I know you guys don't necessarily need to see it. I'm just gonna show you anyway. So here's like Think and Grow Rich on my OneNote right here. So I just write it all out and I can go through it and just put all kinds of goodness on there. And that's my notes from Think and Grow Rich. And it's quite a bit. So obviously, there's a lot of good stuff in there. But I would encourage you guys, whenever you read, take notes. It's going to help a lot because it'll help it sink in. I know that I have problems sometimes where I'll kind of zone out whenever I'm reading. This helps you to keep engaged. And these books also kind of force you to, because they give you little challenges and tasks to do. So they're like, hey, I need you to write down like your greatest desires in life. And then we're going to figure out how you're going to get those desires. Or I need you to answer these questions to help you to figure out where your weaknesses are. Those are really important things because you're engaging with the book and learning. All right? So, I don't feel like talking about books too much more. Book list, these books, Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, The Everything Store, Made in America, Delivering Happiness, Managing Oneself. Those books are really, really good ones to start with. And that's what I've started with. And I've been looking at a lot of books to kind of build a starter list because I don't like have tons of money to just waste on books, so I get the best of the best. Someone who got me on this is Tai Lopez. So talking about mentors, Tai Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, Andy Frisella, Sam Whalen. Those are all really, really cool mentors, really, really good. A lot of them speak with business-minded stuff. Tai talks about knowledge and how awesome knowledge is for developing yourself in anything. He's the one that says health, wealth, love, happiness are the keys to life. So he talks about reading. He does a bunch of these book a day summaries. He talks about how to read fast. He talks about how to find the golden nuggets out of books. So that's kind of what started my whole book thing. That has been super helpful for me in developing myself and kind of growing my business and finding out what I'm good at and what I should do and how to progress my life. There's these other guys that are really great businessmen that have really good minds, like Gary Vaynerchuk, Sean Whalen, Andy Frisella, local First Form Supplement Superstore. That guy talks a lot. And they talk on podcasts, they talk on YouTube, they talk on Snapchat, Periscope, all those things kind of get their media out there. So I'd recommend checking those things out too, because you're getting engaged with their social media, kind of like you guys are engaging with me right now. You're not really talking to me. You can if you want, but you're engaging by viewing what's going on, what I'm doing. So I encourage you guys to look for mentors that help you to develop yourself. So that could be a family member, a boss, a friend, someone that can help be your lighthouse, someone that can build you up. All right, so don't necessarily go with the guy that you go to the bar with, you know. Don't necessarily go with someone who's your equal. Look for someone who's where you want to be in the next 5 years. Someone that's where you want to be in the next 10 years. And it doesn't mean that they have to be 5-10 years older than you, but in their success and in their life and where they're going, you want to see yourself in that same position. So look for mentors in that. That's going to be super helpful with developing yourself, helpful with meeting your goals, which these books will help you meet your goals and set goals like we've been talking about the last 2 days. and they're going to help keep you accountable. And that's huge because a lot of it is seeing it in your mind. You have to convince yourself that you can do this and convince yourself that that goal is attainable, and you have to want it, and you have to go after it every single day. Because if you go after it every single day, then it's going to happen. You think about something every single day, eventually it's going to happen. A good example is, and Scott knows this, with my car. I looked at my car for 3 years online. I looked at all over the country, 3 years straight, never stopped. And now I have my car. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was just obsessed. But being obsessed with something to the point that it creates a white hot fire within you really makes things come to life. And that's really, really cool, really powerful. So find something that you desire so much that it sets you on fire and that you can't stop thinking about, and then make it real. All right? So I hope you guys learned something from this. I know it's probably a little different than you expected. It wasn't a ton about books. It was just being like, hey, you should read books. And these are some books that I read. I hope it helps. Find a mentor. That's what I did. I looked all over. I don't have personal contact too much. I talked to Ty a little bit, but I don't have a whole bunch of contact with my mentors. But they put out a bunch of information that I can follow, and that's great. All right, so make sure that you guys are following someone, looking up to someone, and striving to be better every single day. All right? The next one I'm going to talk about is going to be the power of the mind, which we just barely hit on here, talking about, that white hot fire creating or turning a thought into reality. All right, so we'll hit more on that. I'm excited about that one because it gets me all pumped. So, anyhow, I'll probably be posting this one, if I can hold back, on Monday. If not, then I'm going to do it tomorrow because for some reason I'm doing these every single day. So, don't forget, look on podcasts, Periscope, YouTube, Snapchat, add Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Ty Lopez, Andy Frisella, Sean Whalen. Add those guys in, and that'll help a lot because they don't just talk about business. They talk about making yourself better. All right? All right, you guys. I'll talk to you soon.